Mike Vrabel and Eliot Wolf both sounded very excited about the idea of having Travis Hunter on their football team yesterday, which interesting nugget in that we'll get to, but they both kind of, the question is, if they draft Travis Hunter, like, how do you use him? I think we got a pretty clear plan on that yesterday. And Eliot Wolf, in talking to Kay Adams, said it would be mainly up to the coaching staff, said he thinks, and he told Felger, I think his word was, he didn't want to say waste, but, not making the most of Travis Hunter if you don't have him.
Wouldn't maximize
him playing both ways. But he did kind of mention, and Vrabel mentioned it too, and Vrabel went a little further in this, that he is going to probably need a primary position. And there are details that he's going to need to focus on, that he's going to need to get better at the next level to truly compete. I think it was Vrabel who talked to, or Wolf said he's going to probably need to major in one position and minor in another. And Vrabel kind of laid out this plan where you put him at one spot, you let him develop there, and then once you're happy with where he is at that point, at that position, then you start to put more on his plate, and that's where the two-way comes in. So 6 months, a year, 2 years in, that's where you start to do it. I love that. That's what I've been pitching for Travis Hunter all along. You draft him as a receiver, you develop him as a receiver, and then when you're comfortable where he's at as a receiver, then you start to mix in some defensive assignments, and that could be any different number of things that, we could get into, but I love the plan they laid out for Travis Hunter if they take him. I think they have that thing figured out.
Yeah, so this is where I do like the plan that they've put together, not just with the potential of drafting Travis Hunter, but how they've built the roster where they signed Carlton Davis. Now they have their 2 starting corners.
Right.
Now you can afford to draft Travis Hunter as a receiver and develop him. And that's also with Stephon Diggs. Like, you don't have to immediately insert Travis Hunter as your number 1 wide receiver because, yes, he's a physical freak, very athletically gifted. He's got the ball skills already, but just a little unrefined with route running and things like that. Like, he just needs time to work on that stuff. And I think he could definitely develop into a very, very good wide receiver because he's got that high end athletic ability. And that's another guy that I sort of like his attitude from the press conferences I've seen. And just like, I think he has the potential to just be that sort of great player that can separate himself with those mental aspects on top of the physical ability. So like, yeah, I really like Travis Hunter for the more I've gone on, the more I've learned about him. Like, I was sort of out on him initially, saying like, he's overrated because of the two-way thing. Yeah. He's only going to play one position. He's not going to be elite at either. I'm sort of walked back on that one. Like, I feel like, yeah, the elite athletic ability is there. He might just need a little time to develop. But yeah, like the cornerback moves, I've sort of allowed them to do that. They don't have to immediately put him into that, main major role, which I do like about that. And like, hopefully he does fall. It feels like maybe the potential for that continues to grow. I don't think the Giants are going to be the team that takes Shedeur Sanders at number 3 and sort of allows Travis Hunter to potentially fall to 4, but they could trade out. Like, maybe there's a team that really wants, maybe there's multiple teams that really want Sanders and they have to move up. So like, that's, I guess, what you have to hope for. But I do like the plan that they've sort of laid out for the potential of bringing in Hunter.
And to go back to the team building thing, with Diggs as well, and both Vrabel and Wolf talked about Diggs' versatility and his ability to play all 3 wide receiver spots. And with Hunter, I don't think he's an X. He can definitely play some Z. He can definitely play some slot. Like, you can get creative with his usage and figure out where he's most comfortable. So having a guy like Diggs, who you can also move around, is going to allow you to use Hunter how you really want to use him as a wide receiver. So that versatility comes up big there as well. They sounded excited. Like, if he's there at 4, and I don't know that this is, I think to a lot of people, this is like no doy, but I think he's the pick if he's there at 4. I don't know that they're going to get tempted with a tackle. Now, the question is, will he be? You mentioned the Giants. The Giants are in a unique spot where if it is Carter or Hunter, or if, they don't want a quarterback or whatever, they're probably going to take Travis Hunter over Abdul Carter. He makes a lot more sense for them than Carter does. The one thing the Giants have going for them is their front.
Pass rush.
They have a solid front. Whether you and you can make the argument both ways. They don't really have great cornerback play. You also could say Malik Neighbors next to Travis Hunter. That's just electric. Those 2 guys with Jameis Winston is going to be much must-watch TV. So you could argue it either way there. So that's probably going to be the roadblock. I think what is going to need to happen for the Patriots in precisely this order is Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders. I think that's the only way the Patriots are getting Travis Hunter. I don't know what would happen if the Browns take Hunter at 2. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think if the Browns aren't taking a quarterback, part of the issue that Myles Garrett had, or it was reportedly out there, was like he wanted somebody to rush opposite him to take some of the pressure off of him. Travis Hunter's not going to do that. Abdul Carter is most certainly going to do that.
Oh yeah, I think the Browns take Ward if he's there and Carter if he's there. I think it was Field Yates that said recently that Abdul Carter's a possibility for the Browns at 2. ... Like maybe he's hearing a little something there.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it feels like Cam Ward's going to go 1 to the Titans. He was talking about solidifying his spot, openly in interviews. So it's like, feels like he's sort of solidified, as he said in his own words. And so, yeah, it'd be very interesting if the Browns take the dive on Carter or Abdul Carter. But yeah, it's really going to come down to that number 3 pick. And you just really got to hope that there's multiple teams that want to move up there and get Sanders to sort of jump other teams that are after the Patriots in the top 10. Like that's going to be the top thing to watch. Really for everybody at the top of the draft, but certainly for the Patriots since they're right there at 4.
It does kind of feel like the Sanders hype is cooling off, doesn't it?
I mean, I feel like there hasn't been much hype for him like in the last year.
That's true.
I feel like ever since there was a time where people thought he could go number 1 overall, right? And like there hasn't been any of that in the last, several months maybe.
Yeah, so like was it Dion came out the other day and was like, I don't care where he ends up. That's when you know.
Wow.
Because Dion cares.
Oh yeah.
But I think he'd like him in New York, and you're still seeing the videos of him like hyping up the Giants and stuff. So maybe that's what the Patriots need the Giants to want to just conglomerate. I don't know what the right word is, that quarterback room.
Well, here's the thing. Like, are they going to, so they have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Are they going to draft Shedeur Sanders and he's going to be the 3rd string quarterback, or Jameis Winston?
I think Jameis would be the 3rd string. I think Russell Wilson would be their Jacoby Brissett. Shedeur's the 3rd string. And then Jameis is just there for vibes, I guess.
Yeah, he's the vibe guy. Yeah, he's the ideas guy.
I don't remember if I said it on this show with you, but I said it on a show that Daboll and Joe Schoen are desperate, right? They really should not have kept their jobs. They're on the hottest seat in the league. They need to win this year. They're not going to do that without something working at quarterback. And I wonder if they are taking essentially the same approach that the Patriots took at tackle last year, which was, well, we can't get a great player, so let's just get as many players as possible, and odds are one of them will work out. We're just going to throw as much against the wall as possible and see what sticks. Isn't that what it felt like the Patriots were doing at tackle last year?
Oh, yeah.
And doesn't it kind of feel, doing that at tackle is one thing, like that's not great, but doing that at quarterback is wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
So
people in the biggest market in the league too.
Right. So, people might listen to that and say that's a ridiculous take. Nobody would do that. Teams get dumb at the quarterback position. Teams get really stupid at the quarterback position. Right. It happens all the time.
You're not saying it's the right move.
Right.
I know it sounds crazy.
Add in the desperate state of the organization. Yeah, they're probably like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going off the grid a little bit, if they're going outside the box. So I'm not ruling anything out with the Giants. If you tell me they take a quarterback at 3, if you tell me they're going to bypass at 3 and take a 38, if you tell me that they're going to draft 2 quarterbacks, if you tell me they're going to draft no quarterbacks, I think the only thing at this point that the Giants could do to surprise me at the quarterback position is sign Aaron Rodgers. I think anything short of that, I'm leaving it all on the table. I'm leaving all options open.
Think about that quarterback room.
Jameis, Wilson, and Rodgers.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yes, that would be something.
I still think they take Hunter. At least for the reasons you laid out, but I guess that's the logical choice. And like you were just saying, like teams just get illogical at this point.
They get nuts.
This time of year.
And then the Kirk Cousins thing is out there too. So that's the other thing. There was a report this morning. Let me find this actually.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
To the Giants?
Well, I think to the Browns.
Oh.
Was more the conversation. Yeah, a couple people, Diana Rossini, Albert Breer, a couple reporters had this that like Kirk Cousins could get traded and he has familiarity with Stefanski, and does he go to Cleveland and is he the answer there? So now you totally take Cleveland. Cousins isn't going there if he thinks they're drafting another quarterback, not after we went through last year with Michael Penix, right? So you take quarterback out of the equation there. Now that's going to be Abdul Carter. And then for the Giants, it becomes as simple as Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to make your decision as easy as possible, then I guess that would be the move.